From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something that you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. Ole Miss, ULM this weekend. Neal's two alma maters clashing on the gridiron Saturday at 3 p.m. for that one. Ole Miss coming off a...
Something tells me that's not going to be the dominant storyline.
It is on this podcast today as we move forward. So, no, probably not as we get into the rest of the week. However, Ole Miss coming off a stinging 45-16 loss to LSU on Saturday night. Kind of forgot the score there for a minute, but
45-16.
It was, yes, 45-16 for.
You know, it's funny, for whatever reason, when I left the press box, if you would have asked me, tell me the score, I don't know that I would have gotten it on the first three guesses. I couldn't remember.
You were a little fried.
I was just toast.
It was late,
and I was mentally.
You had an hour traffic jam after that coming up too. So. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to some of that. Again, we had a little bit of that yesterday. Go check out the Sunday Conversation podcast we put up on rebelgrove.com and all the places that you listen to podcasts. If you haven't, we kind of just dissected the Ole Miss program as a whole at the time. I'm sure we'll have a little overlap today, but that was a good bit of yesterday's podcast. So go listen to that and go head on over to the Oxford Exxon with a home game this weekend. Free Gas Friday returns on Friday, as you might guess. Follow the Oxford Exxon on Twitter. They'll send out a question. They'll probably ask for some GIFs or ask for you to be clever. Do that and potentially win some free tanks of gas before you leave town this weekend. You can also go get ribs, lunch specials, and let them cater your tailgate this weekend as well. 3 slabs of ribs, $33, a couple pounds of pulled pork, quart-size sides, and much more. They're at the Oxford Exxon. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's really that simple. It's truly down to that bottom line. It's very manageable. And the rest is kind of up to you. You get the quote, and you can either shop it, try to find a better quote, good luck, or you'll end up coming back to Corey eventually because he's going to get you right to that bottom line on a great deal for a great Ford product that is accompanied by incredible service, delivery options. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. I've had people say, what do you mean? And all I can tell you is Corey wants to be a one-stop comprehensive shop for you and your automotive needs, and he'll make that obvious in the way that he deals with you. 662-257-1900. Tell him that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast. If you do, you'll save $500 off the bottom line at Clark Ford and Amory, 662-257-1900.
So up on the site today, we have 10 Weekend Thoughts. That is from Mr. McCready. We'll get into that in a second a little more. We have a guest column from Arrow Miller this morning. The at least 1 week. We'll see how it goes. Return of Monday Morning Quarterback with Rowe. He had some thoughts on his mind yesterday. And we put some of those to paper for you guys, or I guess not really paper, but to the computer screen
Virtual
for you guys.
paper.
Yeah, cyber paper. If you
cyber paper.
Cyber. I've used cyber ink in some sort. Or I use digital ink in stories occasionally when I'm trying to explain something being written. But
I mean, yeah,
it's fair. It's fair.
It's fair enough.
Pixels being blackened, if you will.
Yeah, that becomes wordy.
Okay. It's not as clean, but sure.
No.
Anyway, that's read that at rebelgrove.com. It is a free content item. Go check it out, share it, peruse it, whatever you'd like to do there. With Rowe, game content, a column I wrote yesterday as well, featuring a couple tweets from some former players talking about Ole Miss's lack of composure, lack of discipline, and issues, those being Deuce McAllister and Tutan Reyes. People typically listen to Deuce when he speaks, so that is up at the site. Also at rebelgrove.com, Matt Luke going to talk to the media around 11:30 this morning. Many of you guys probably will see that before you can listen to the podcast, but Neal spent point one yesterday talking about what Matt should say today, what his press conference could be like today as we move forward. Again, these gatherings that are typically monotonous and fairly pointless, but it's a chance to speak to your fan base, Neil. So obviously people go read it, but what's the general theme of what you wrote?
Yeah, go read it for all the details. It's at rebelgrove.com. It's part of the Rivals Network. You can subscribe. It's not very expensive.
But there are people that listen that don't subscribe. If you all subscribed, I would really be happy right now.
Frankly, if you all subscribed, the product that you would get would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really would.
You'd have like 14 staff writers.
We would have
like an NFL beat writer.
We would have 2 basketball beat writers going to the basketball media day today.
Yeah.
Instead of one incredibly distracted beat writer, which is the case today. I mean,
we'll get to that in a little bit.
Perhaps shockingly distracted.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
It is October the 1st. There's plenty of time to make up for it. What I wrote on the site was basically that these Monday press conferences, I know this isn't going to shock anybody. For most of us who do this for a living, Monday press conferences are almost a dinosaur. They have a purpose, and they're usable.
Injuries is the one main purpose.
Yeah. With Matt, they're pretty good because you do get an update on some basic stuff. There are coaches that keep everything under their hat, and the Monday press conference is an exercise in some degree of futility. I'm not making fun of anybody here at all. I'm not. It's a unique thing. At Ole Miss, they allow sometimes people who aren't really in traditional media to come in and ask questions and more of have a conversation with the coach in the Monday press conference, which changes the dynamic of the press conference. You're probably getting a little more inside baseball here than you really want. For some of us, I can't remember the last time I asked a question on a Monday. I always ask post-practice questions. I ask post-game questions. I don't ask Monday questions because, frankly, the Monday event has turned into something different that I sort of surrender to that element, which is fine. Not a criticism. It's good. You'll get questions like, Coach, I noticed that we used this, whatever. Kind of what'd you think of that? And
well, we used it, yeah.
And there's a discussion, hey, Coach, I know that you know this because you played at Ole Miss and your dad played at Ole Miss and I played at Ole Miss. And, boy, this is a big game. And I always want to say, is that the question? Is this a big game? But I've learned to just let it go. Live and let live. Laissez-faire. It's going to be okay.
Que sera, sera.
Que sera. Anyway, today, if I were Matt, the fan base is, you nail this all the time, and you're right. The fan base isn't angry.
They're a little angry, but
anger's good.
Anger's great.
Anger's great.
Anger means engaged.
When you're dating a girl and she's angry at you,
you're going to be all right.
She's still engaged.
Oh, yeah. When she doesn't give a crap.
She's engaged. When she's crying and she's upset and she's mad, she's trying to tell you, I want you to make this work. I want this to work.
Yeah, you screw up and she yells at you, all good.
Yeah.
Hey.
When something happens and she says, you know what,
okay.
I can't, that's who he is. I can't fix this.
Yeah, go do whatever you want. I don't care.
And she's,
And actually means it, not the other side of that where she's actually angry.
Right, where she just, you hear a difference in her tone. You read a difference in her tone. You can tell that
doesn't give a crap if you text back or not.
Yeah, she just begins to move on, frankly, to let it go. It's not anger. It's not a grudge. It's just, hey, I see the writing on the wall. It's time to let go. It's time to move on. That's bad if you're wanting to keep her around. And I sense that's sort of where the Ole Miss fan base is right now a little bit, which is terrifying for us since we cover Ole Miss for a living and that's how we make our money. But it's real. And if I'm him today, I'm telling people not only what they want to hear, and I don't say it unless I mean it. I'm not going to go tell her, hey, no, baby, I love you, and we're going to figure out a way to make this work if what I'm thinking is, yeah, I'm really moving on. But in this case, we're not talking about a dating relationship. We're talking about a football program. If I'm Matt Luke, I'm telling them what they want to hear, which is what happened Saturday is not acceptable. Not the loss. Not the loss. Oh, LSU's better than Ole Miss. You and I are going to get into this a little bit as we go. LSU's more talented than Ole Miss. They just are. And if you can't see that with your eyes, then you're letting your heart and your emotion make decisions for you. Which I understand. You're a fan. That's part of being a fan. Be like me watching the Cubs play the last month, watching the Red Sox play the last month, and me going, we're every bit as good as they are. No, we're not. Nope. Does it mean I can't cheer for them? Of course not. Does it mean I can't hope? Of course not. But if you watched Ole Miss and LSU take the field for warm-ups on Saturday, I did. The difference is noticeable. It's palpable. It's tangible. Size, speed, athleticism, quantity. So it's not that you lost the game. It's not even that you lost the game by far more than the point spread. It's that you lost the game committing multiple turnovers. It's that you lost the game, not multiple penalties, silly penalties, late hits. You lost your composure. Matt talked a lot before the season about it was going to be a different kind of program. They were going to be blue-collar, hardworking, disciplined, all of those things. And there is no doubt in my mind that he meant those words. There is no doubt in my mind that is the type of program that he wants to put on the field. I think it's what's in his DNA. His brother was an undersized quarterback who played his ass off. Matt was a walk-on center who was a 4-year starter. He played for David Cutcliffe, who's kind of no-nonsense. He coached for Philip Fulmer. He coached for Joe Panunzio. These are people who that's their style of football. There's nothing in Matt Luke's background that leads me to believe he's a fun and gun, let it go, let's have some fun, let's, wear Hawaiian clothes on Wednesday to practice kind of a guy. I mean, that's not who I think he is. But for whatever reason, the product that's on the field right now is not a reflection of what he wants it to be. Some of that is he hasn't had time. Some of that, in my opinion, and I think you share this, is that some of the personnel is not who he would choose. Not because there's anything wrong with the people, not because they're bad football coaches or anything like that. I just don't know that the styles mesh. And so they have this product on the field that doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes. And people can do this win-loss thing because we do that. We do it forever. It's something we do. I don't think the rest of this season is about wins and losses. Not entirely. I think it's about putting a product on the field that looks like it's getting better each week. Putting a product on the field that looks like it's improving in different facets each week. I think it's about putting a product on the field that people can be proud of, that people can be excited about. There's a certain degree of where people walk out of a stadium going, you know what? We're not real good right now. But when we start getting players and they play the way those kids played, we're going to be good. And also when prospective student athletes walk out of a stadium, they go, they're not real good right now, but I can see what they're building.
2012.
And I'm good. I'm going to join up. We'll get good fast.
2012. It's the best example.
2012 is a great example because 2012 Ole Miss was not a particularly talented team by SEC standards. They played their asses off. And they got better as the year went on. Better and better and better. And they
found a way 3 SEC wins
to scratch out some wins. They went 7-6. They won a bowl game in Birmingham. And kids wanted to play in that. Kids wanted to play for that. We talked to those kids. It was back pre-Russell. And we talked to those kids, and those kids were like, yeah, they lost to so-and-so, but, man, they played hard. I like what they're doing. I want to be a part of that. And they recruited a really good class in spring of 2013, and they took a step forward. Started kind of recruiting to that system. Took a big step forward in 14. Everybody talks about NCAA stuff. The truth is the NCAA stuff is over. I mean, it's over. If this team max is, 7 wins, and that's being incredibly generous. I mean, so let's say they went 6-6. I mean, you're missing out on the Independence Bowl. Big damn deal. No one cares. The NCAA thing's over. You're not recruiting into the face of that anymore, and the scholarship sanctions were not severe. It's about putting a product on the field right now that prospective athletes find attractive, and that fans go, yep, you know what? I'm all good. I know we're probably going to get beat by Auburn, or we're probably going to get beat by South Carolina or whatever, but give it a year. Give it 2 years. We keep playing like that. We're going to make that step. And I think Saturday was a night when no one walked out of that stadium thinking that.
No, there's no doubt. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's the game where when you play Auburn in a few weeks, you play pretty well, and you go, yeah, hey, you better get us now. Go ahead, get us now.
Yeah,
it'd be all right.
Yeah,
it's the way it's the way A&M's feeling right now.
It absolutely is the way A&M's feeling right now.
Yeah, when they play Auburn or whomever, and they lose a tight one, and go, okay, that's fine. Yeah,
they did it with Clemson.
Yeah,
they did it with Alabama, where fans walked out of the stadium going,
all right,
yeah, they're better than us right now.
Uh-huh.
They got more than we have right now. I get it. They earned it. They're better. It's cool. But, man, when we start getting some players, and we're getting them, when we get those players, we'll see you down the road, Alabama.
Yeah. And
that's good. You can sell tickets to that, Chase. You can sell that.
Now, look, this is relative. It's a little. It's a little of what even Chad Morris got to experience on Saturday, because they took advantage of an A&M team that's still in its first year, had a sluggish day, did not play real well. But they came out of there going, hey, got some life here. A&M almost beat Clemson. Look what we did. Hey, first sign.
Certain degree of, there was a little part of, I kind of laughed about it because I know Wally Hall. I've known Wally for a long time. Wally at one point talked about hiring me at the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette back in the day.
Your people.
Wally probably thought to himself, see, y'all think I'm crazy, and I am a little crazy, but maybe I'm not as crazy as you think. They're getting better. And they did look better. Now they're a long way away, and they're not as close as A&M.
Here's what they did, and here even to an extent what Tennessee did that Ole Miss didn't do. They took some early pops, composed themselves, and kind of, even if they didn't make it a game, Tennessee never actually made it a game per se, but they looked very respectable. They were able to punch back. There was an ebb and flow to both those games. And that's why, as much crap as we give him, Jeremy Pruitt on Saturday got very, very emotional at the end of that Tennessee game. And it was because his kids are still fighting for him. These kids gave a crap. And
against a really good team.
Yeah, and everything that program's been through, they're down 24-0, 30-0, whatever that thing was on Saturday. And they kind of punched back, and that's a huge deal for that building program like that. So I get it. That's one thing I'm not going to make fun of him for. I understand exactly what he meant in that situation. So
I do too. I understand why he got emotional.
Yeah,
it tells you that what he saw was his kids played hard. His kids cared.
Yeah,
because if they care, you have a chance. When they stop caring, past Tennessee teams have stopped caring, and we saw the result.
And through 2 SEC games, Ole Miss hasn't done that punchback, that look where you go, hey, okay, there's 3 or 4 drives here. Instead, they let LSU extend it. They had those 3 or 4 3-and-outs in a row where they just completely let LSU take every bit of air out of it and end it.
They showed some fight, but they showed the fight in the wrong way. They showed frustration. And he's got to get – bottom line is the product that got put on the field Saturday. He can't sell that. He can't sell that. The school can't sell that. And it gets dangerous because of the way, and you and I have talked about this, because of the way the schedule falls, it gets dangerous. I mean, we make jokes about it. I'm sure I will make some ULM jokes as the week goes on. I'll be serious here. It's Louisiana Monroe. It's a middle of the pack Sun Belt team. There's not a lot of buzz when ULM comes to town. It's a pay-for-win game. You pay a school. What's Ole Miss paying ULM? Probably $700,000-$800,000.
Yeah, probably. Prices go up on that a lot these days.
You're paying them some money to come get beat. That's the way the schedule works. Come up. We'll get a win. We'll lick our wounds a little bit.
We'll hand you a check.
We'll hand you a check. It's a transaction. But on this particular Saturday, the message probably gets sent by fans. And it is most certainly a message. It's not a concerted effort. And we're not lobbying for this, so don't give me that. But I don't anticipate a big crowd.
Get a little help from 3 p.m. and a little help because I think it's homecoming.
It's homecoming, which probably means less to schools now than it used to mean.
Than it ever did, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when that was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's like whatever. So yeah, it's just a different there's a different feel to it. And ULM comes to town and it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, I wrote 2 Saturdays ago the way they kind of got a little bit of environment for this game against ULM, and they didn't do that. So here we are. We'll see what it looks like.
And I suspect that it will be kind of empty. And that emptiness, people over there, as I said yesterday, they probably need to soak that in. Probably needs to be a motivator.
Yeah.
Back to the analogy real quick. It's the girl who doesn't really care. And when she doesn't return your text for a few days, you've got a decision to make.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Oxford Wine and Spirits, located there on College Hill Road next to Lost Pizza. Go in, give them a try. Neil and I do pretty often. Very, very often. Sorry, that was the way I should have gone on that. 5% below industry standards always. If you spend $150 or more and mention the podcast, they take 5% off wine. They take 10% off liquor for you. They got several new selections in, including all the different Cathead products, including Hoodoo Chicory Liqueur. If you haven't tried it yet, with the temperatures falling, good time for that. So again, on College Hill Road, next to Lost Pizza. That's Oxford Wine and Spirits.
The podcast is also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Go to his site, and he shall prove it to you. Told you about 10 Weekend Thoughts. He's also the sponsor of those 10 Weekend Thoughts up on the site. So get in touch with Harry at ha@harryalexander.com. Check out his website. It's harryalexander.com. You can filter through by what you're looking for at the top left. And then what you get for results is what's updated daily. And then let Harry take it from there. He'll take great care of you. Podcast also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Grenada Nissan, located just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi. Grenada Nissan has a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in and test drive one today. Tell Gene and Sandy that you heard about it here on the podcast, and they'll take great care of you. Again, GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And the podcast is brought to you in part by the Westin Jackson. Restore serenity to your soul at Soul Spa. It's the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. Indulge in personalized massages, signature facials, soothing body treatments, and much more on their extensive spa list. Escape from the everyday and rejuvenate yourself in their luxury spa today. You can also gather at Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro there in the Westin Jackson. Sip on a creative craft cocktail or enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships. So gather at Estelle tonight.
Podcast is brought to you by Tyson Drugs, TysonDrugs.com. They have an app as well, located in downtown Holly Springs and now in Oxford, G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar. They deliver, and they also will package your medication for you in compliance packaging to make sure you're taking the right thing at the right time. Critical there, so give them a call. Again, 662-252-2321. Let's jump into lines, get done with that before we start rambling a little bit as the podcast goes on. As I know where that's probably headed. So we'll get some lines here. Do you know the lines yet for the week?
I do not. I have not looked at lines.
You have not looked at lines. Okay, let's see what we have. Going in, pulling it up now. Did Louisville or Florida State win that pillow fight Saturday?
I can ask Siri. Hey, Siri, who won the Florida State game?
Florida State edged past Louisville by a score of 28-24 last Saturday.
Big, close game there.
Big game.
Yeah, big game. All right, here we go. LSU coming off the win over Ole Miss. They're at the Florida Gators this weekend in the Swamp. LSU in Florida, 2:30 on CBS.
Heard Florida won Saturday. Is that right?
That is correct. We'll get to that momentarily.
Florida and LSU in the Swamp. Actually, this is a hell of a game.
It's a fun game. Yeah, it's a fun game.
Pretty fun game.
Yeah.
They don't like each other either, the two programs.
They're the common opponents.
And they had the hurricane thing where everybody's a little pissy.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm going to guess that Florida is a 4-point favorite.
Very good. Very good start. LSU. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're actually way off. LSU is a 3-point favorite on the road at the Florida Gators this weekend. LSU -3 this weekend at Florida.
Florida's defense is going to give our boy Joe Burrow fits.
He is, yes. They're quick.
Joe is not particularly good.
The read option's not going to work next week. Missouri is on the road again. The Battle of the Columbias. We need a trophy here. If we don't have one, Missouri would fit right in the big, because they're in the Big Ten similarities there. So Missouri at South Carolina in Columbia, South Carolina this weekend.
So Missouri goes to Carolina.
Correct.
My boy Drew Lock meets my boy Boom.
You've given up on Boom. You don't get to claim him anymore. You're cheating on Boom with Benny.
Yeah. I've kind of left Boom. Moved on to something more splashy.
Brighter,
a little more exciting, more spirited.
Younger.
Benny's exciting.
Benny's fun. We'll get to Benny in a minute.
Yeah. His post game's awesome. I love Benny Snell, man. I mean, Benny Snell's great. I'm going to guess that Carolina's a 2-point favorite. This is probably a really close line.
South Carolina opened at 1.5. Most boards have actually taken it off the board because Jake Bentley is questionable Saturday.
Well, if Jake Bentley doesn't go, I love Missouri in this game.
It's worth the gamble to go ahead and take Missouri now.
I'm locking in. We're locked in.
So you're taking Missouri right now before Jake Bentley does anything?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I like Missouri. I think they're
And if he doesn't play, that line's going to move 6-7 points.
Minimum.
Yeah, that thing's going to jump the other way.
Because the cat on the other sideline's good.
You're going to have to score to win this week.
Drew Lock's going to get his.
Yeah. And I'm not sure Bentley can get his even healthy.
I'm not sure either.
He looked bad Saturday.
Okay, he did look bad. Kentucky
Here's
is
the part where Neal
good.
makes Kentucky the 85 Bears across the field.
No. But they're a legitimately good team. Okay, hold on. We're going to do this because people
We're going to get Kentucky in a second. I haven't gotten to Kentucky yet.
Okay. Don't let me forget because I'm forgetting a lot of stuff right now.
I'm going to remind you about Florida, and I'm going to remind you about Kentucky.
Because I have a point about Kentucky that goes back to Ole Miss.
Okay. I'll remind you of that.
Okay.
Shea Patterson's playing Maryland this weekend, so we'll have a big day. Michigan -17.5.
Northwestern almost had him.
Should have had them. Screwed that one up.
Screwed it up.
Kent State, a 13-point underdog to Ohio.
What did they do this past weekend?
I don't know.
Hey, Siri, who won the Kent State game?
Kent State was trounced by Ball State last Saturday. The final score was 52-24.
Did you say trounced?
She said trounced.
Siri said trounced.
Listen, my Siri she understands that I like words. She likes words. We have a beautiful relationship.
Hold on, is mine going to say trounced too?
I don't know.
Hold on. What was the Kent State score? She's not talking. Soundly defeated is what I got. I did not get trounced.
Your series nowhere near as exotic as mine.
Well, I haven't changed my language because you've got a little her situation going on over here where suddenly it's a thing. But
she's real. She lives inside that phone.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Where am I? Sorry.
She's hot. My series.
Oh yeah,
sexy.
Sorry. So they get beat 52-24 by Ball State. They are now at home against Ohio, and they're 13-point underdogs against Frank Solich in Ohio on Saturday.
Yeah.
He's made a good little career after getting fired at Nebraska for winning 9 games.
He's done a nice job.
He has done a nice job. Let's see. Notre Dame and Virginia Tech is one of the bigger games of the week outside the SEC, which means it's a pretty bad week outside the SEC this week.
Ooh, it does.
Notre Dame -5 at Virginia Tech, if you're curious.
Okay, I wasn't, but thanks.
Yeah, sure. Just trying to help you out. Washington, a 21-point favorite at UCLA. They're going to beat the crap out of the Bruins this weekend.
Washington fast playing themselves back into the playoff picture.
They are. Washington State is playing Oregon State this weekend. Mike Leach, a 16-point favorite in Corvallis this weekend. Again, still just scrolling. Neal's Northwestern Wildcats are 9-point underdogs at Michigan State this weekend.
Yeah, I don't like the chances.
West Virginia is a 29-point favorite over Kansas at home this weekend.
Like that.
Alabama, the Crimson Tide, maybe Tua Tagovailoa plays a half, maybe he doesn't. They are in Fayetteville playing the Arkansas Razorbacks at 11 a.m. Saturday morning.
Alabama, I'm going to say -34.
That is exactly where the line is now. It opened at 35.5, and it's come down just a touch.
Yeah.
They didn't cover the 50.
No, they didn't cover the 50.
They were up 49-0 about halfway through the second quarter, but
didn't cover the 50 because
he didn't want to beat up on Billy Napier.
He didn't want to hurt his boy.
Yeah. What's the use? I think he even gave him a couple touchdowns late just to.
Well, he literally put in the dregs of their roster.
And then griped about them in the postgame.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Our third team did not hold up the standard of Alabama football, basically, is what he said.
The Nick Saban postgame press conference, you talk about exercises in total futility, it's there.
Louisiana Tech, your boys, they're playing UAB at home this weekend. They are an 8.5-point favorite over the Blazers.
In Ruston?
In Ruston.
They beat North Texas on Saturday. It was a big win for them.
They did.
Tech's good.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Tech's good. Skip Holtz has done a really good job there for a long period of time, and he's kind of built the program.
Kentucky on the road in a College Station this weekend.
Ooh.
Kentucky, Texas A&M, 6 o'clock.
Fascinating game.
Yeah. Get done early. We can see about 3/4 of this puppy.
Yeah, because if the Cubs make the NLDS,
we'll get there in a minute.
No, if they do, they won't play Saturday. Saturday's a travel day, so I can watch.
Yeah.
Okay. And if the Cubs don't make the NLDS, I won't watch one pitch of the postseason.
Yeah,
I'll
you
be
will.
so no, I won't. I'll be ugh. Anyway. Kentucky, I'm guessing a line here. Kentucky at A&M. Oh, boy, I bet the line's tight. I'm going to guess Kentucky's a 2-point favorite on the road.
All right, I want to lock this right now because I know where I'm going.
Okay.
Kentucky is getting 6.5 points.
Getting points?
Yes, A&M -6.5 right now.
Kentucky.
Go ahead. You can talk about your Wildcats now.
Here's my example.
Okay.
Bob Stoops took over a program that has some challenges.
Wrong Stoops, but sure.
Mike Stoops, Mark Stoops, whatever Stoops. Stoops. It's a Stoops.
It is.
Took over a program that has some challenges. Now pay attention. Listen to me, whether you agree.
I'm listening.
Kentucky's never going to be able to recruit, ever, at the level that Georgia is, at the level that probably Florida does. Fair? In much the same way that Ole Miss is probably never going to be able to recruit at the level that Alabama does, at the level that LSU does.
Yet even less. Kentucky can't recruit to the max level that Ole Miss can.
Right.
Yeah.
So my point is this. Kentucky went and hired a guy, and there have been growing pains, who they thought could give them stability. He's built a program. It's Mark Stoops, right? He's built a program that has an identity, They play physical, hard-nosed defense, and they run the ball. And they throw it a little, but they run the ball. They don't beat themselves. This is their identity. They don't beat themselves. They play disciplined. They play hard. And the goal is to win 7 or 8 games. And every so often, if you do that, if you become a consistent 7-game winner, 8-game winner, you'll have the year where things don't go well and you only win 5 or 6. But you'll have those years mixed in.
And you got a superstar in the backfield to help you.
You have a star, and the schedule falls right, and you win 9 or 10. And if you do that a couple of times, well, now 7 jumps to 8. 8 jumps to 9. What your baseline is. And I think that's where Kentucky is right now, because if you're a student athlete looking at Kentucky and you're a kid who's like a Benny Snell, remember when Ole Miss recruited everybody and every kid goes, yeah, I'm the next Dexter McCuster?
Mm-hmm.
How many kids right now are going, I wouldn't mind being Benny Snell? I could see myself fitting into that. My point is, for Ole Miss, Kentucky's a pretty good model right now. And the ceiling at Ole Miss is higher than the ceiling at Kentucky. It just is.
Yeah.
But you have to have an identity.
How far does it fall off next year? They've built to this season.
I don't know. It's what's interesting. And if you build to that season and you just take a step back, it's okay. You can't fall off the damn ladder.
Yeah.
Just take a step down.
Yeah.
Sometimes you take a step down so that you can get your legs back under you to take 2 steps up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to do at a place like Kentucky. You're not going to be Florida or Georgia there. Ever.
And they don't expect you to.
No. Any more than deep down.
Entertain us until basketball season tips.
Do Ole Miss fans really expect the program to be Alabama?
Ole Miss fans, because the curve's changed a little, expect 8 wins a season.
Yeah.
And be very, very competitive in the bigger games.
And be in position to capitalize when an opportunity arises.
Win your 4 non-cons almost every year and then go 4-4 and 5-3 in the SEC. That's 8 or 9 wins.
It's 8 or 9 wins, and be in position to capitalize when an opportunity arises.
Yeah.
But there's an understanding that when you go to LSU, when you go to Tuscaloosa, that those are going to be difficult challenges. That's why when the people come back, well, they are 3-2. You're like, oh, come on, stop. 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 That's ridiculous. It's losing 62-7 to a team that takes its starters out in the second quarter is not acceptable. Losing 45-16 in a game that was a couple of LSU turnovers away from being an embarrassing blowout. When you commit a record number of penalties is not acceptable. No one inside that program who's going to be there long term is happy with those results.
No. All right. Let's see. Vanderbilt is on the road. They're in Athens this weekend at the Georgia Bulldogs, a Vanderbilt team that was losing to Tennessee State in the second half on Saturday.
You want a hot take real quick?
Sure.
Georgia's not elite good.
Define elite.
They have no business being in the playoff. I'm not sure they're going to make the playoff. I have a feeling someone's going to get them in the regular season, and Alabama's going to pop the absolute hell out of them in a bowl game or the championship game.
Okay.
They're a go to the
Citrus Bowl kind of team,
or go to the Sugar Bowl if that's the BCS type, a Access Bowl kind of a deal.
Yeah.
But they're not at Alabama's level the way that they were a year ago. My opinion, watching them play.
Ohio State is going to be a double-digit favorite in every game the rest of the season. They're in, barring catastrophe.
Which will be good because everyone needs a foil to cheer against.
And that'll be your foil.
Yeah.
If Notre Dame wins out, they're in.
Yeah.
And then Oklahoma has the other inside track.
Yeah. I think Oklahoma loses the game.
I do too, probably. But as of right now, that's
in fact, if you made me bet,
well, Notre Dame could very well lose. They're not good.
Oklahoma could lose that Red River shootout thingy.
They could. I'll get to that in a second.
Is that this week?
I think it's this week.
Oh, good.
Isn't it? For sure. I'm for Oklahoma just because I'm tired of the Texas is back because they beat a bunch of crap teams. But
I like Oklahoma because they really were nice to my daughter.
You always had an affinity for Oklahoma.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, come on. But yes, that is this week. Sorry, the line.
I wish it hadn't been so far away, but she hated that town. She wasn't going there.
What's the line?
What game? Vanderbilt.
and Georgia.
Georgia minus 26.5.
27. Actually, it did open at 26.5.
Damn, I'm good.
You're having a really good week guessing lines.
If I could just guess lines and I'd have to pick them, man, that'd be awesome.
If you could pick them like you guessed them, we'd
I'd
be all
winning.
in.
Me and the interns would be just cruising. Instead, we are not getting
Rolling
along.
in the green.
We are not getting along.
Speaking of green, Bowling Green at Toledo this week.
Yeah.
All right. It's a good time to pause, actually, because this one's going to take a second. I have a hunch as I get into the next set of lines. I saw where we were. Anyway, podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing in Memphis. So you're getting local underwriting and understands your market, and a leader in condo financing and the float down option. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE, JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
The podcast also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the guys you'll never forget, or maybe that anniversary trip she'll never forget, whether you've dreamed of playing St. Andrews or sitting at a cafe in Paris, talk to John Edwards before you try to do it yourself. Why use John? Well, he's part of Virtuoso, a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. John traveled the globe for 37 years before getting into the travel business, so he knows the extra attention needed to make a special trip one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. So if you're thinking about going with the boys to Pebble Beach or taking her to Napa for the vacation of her dreams, call John. Give him some parameters and a budget and let him give you some options. And know this, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. Call John 901-494-3387 or send him an email at jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. Podcast is also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. Why does that matter? Well, when you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with the live person, all without having to press 10 buttons and without a 5-minute wait. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000. With Kasasa, ATM fees nationwide are refunded, and OUB also offers online bill pay and mobile check deposit using its online app. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
Podcast also brought to you by Visit Oxford. Remember, with a home football game this weekend on Friday, a 2 p.m. double-decker bus tour. Those are every single Friday before Ole Miss home games. Also coming up in 3 weeks, the Wizard of Oz is at the Ford Center. The Oxford Art Crawl is October 23rd. And the National 10-Minute Festival on November 15th through 18th. Thacker Mountain Radio broadcast in front of a live audience on Thursdays at 6 p.m. in front of Off Square Books. And you can find more information at visitoxfordms.com/events.
Oxford has the 10-minute festival?
That is correct.
Louisville has the 10-second festival.
Hey, yo. Ding, ding, ding. Porcini was the restaurant.
Yes.
I always remember that. I'm always like, okay, it was some kind of mushroom. It was porcini. Yeah.
Was it on a pool table? 10 seconds?
It was in a booth, right?
It may have been a booth, yeah.
What year was that?
I don't know.
It's been a little while.
Yeah. That's what she said.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm really glad, I get there's like a football trip probably upcoming or whatever. I'm really glad we didn't do the Ryan Brown thing, though, with the bet where you have to do the comedy thing for 5 minutes or whatever. I would be terrified.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrified.
I'd be terrified, too. I don't even know where I'd start.
Like, I saw somebody, I think it was Matthew Berry that maybe tweeted it out, that the last place team in a fantasy football league, they have to, go to a New York comedy club for, 5 minutes.
Oh, my God.
I would be mortified.
I don't even know where.
I've talked in front of a lot of people, and I typically don't even really get nervous at this point. I would be petrified in that environment.
Yeah.
Just oh God. So anyway, Auburn at Mississippi State this weekend. The Tigers and the Bulldogs at Scott Field.
Ooh.
6:30 start.
Auburn at Mississippi
Really
State.
wanted a freaking 11 a.m. game this week.
Yeah.
Almost to the point of being a little pissed off.
You know me.
You're
Auburn at State. Auburn -2?
double it. Auburn -4.
Okay.
State cannot throw the football.
No.
And when they throw it, they can't catch it. And then when they throw it and catch it, they can't block it. Offensively, they're terrible. The regression is amazing. And it's because of Nick Fitzgerald.
What will their attendance be Saturday?
They'll give them one more week. It'll be okay. It's legitimate year one. Now, look, they're turning on Moorhead quick. But
if they were playing ULM on Saturday, they'd have a fall.
Yeah, it's Auburn. They're getting a reprieve. It's hilarious a little bit because to me, this thing speaks of Fitzgerald maybe not having the mobility before the injury.
Yeah.
It speaks to maybe being some tentativeness because of the injury, which is fair.
Sure.
It's human.
He's a human.
And frankly, it's just his inability to throw the ball. However, 90% of their fan base is sticking this all on Joe Moorhead. And I just don't understand that.
Yeah, you do, because we're dealing with some of this.
You like the players more than the coaches.
You love the players. They're your guys. I understand. I get it. I completely understand. You love your players. They wear your uniform. They're your guys.
Yeah.
They're going to be alums one day. They mean something to you. The coach is a coach. Coach is
a paid mercenary most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely, Chase. And so you don't want to go, hey, our quarterback's not the same as he was before that injury in that damn game.
It's just usually the backup quarterback is very popular. The backup quarterback is not popular in this instance.
No, they love Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Because they've seen what he's done in the past.
It runs deeper than that, but
yeah. Think so?
I'd bet my life on it.
Okay. It's an offense, though, that scored.
And yes, I'm implying that.
It's an offense that almost scored 30 points a year last year. 30 points a game.
Who was the coach last year?
Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen, you said.
He took the high road Saturday night all the way around.
Yeah, I know there were some people that were close to him that were telling him to make sure he did that.
Yeah, he called it a great environment that he built. I love that one.
True.
Absolutely true.
I mean, listen. If you're a great-looking guy and you walk outside and go, I'm a great-looking guy, okay, well, maybe it's a little cocky, but you are. I mean, if I walk outside and go, I'm a great-looking guy, people are like, you are insane. But if you're a great-looking guy, you can do what you want. Dan Mullen built that program. He did. Dan Mullen took that program from the absolute dregs and made it at first respectable and then feared.
I found myself really kind of pulling for him Saturday night.
It's a good coach. Look, he did some crappy stuff with this NCAA thing that I know prevents Ole Miss people from looking at him objectively, and I completely understand. But he's a hell of a good football coach. And they are already improving in Florida. They are already getting an identity.
If they say they're not good yet per se, but they have an identity. Offensively, they're bad, frankly. But
he waited until he had a spot, and then he ran that play.
Yeah.
Which is fitting for him because he can walk off the field going, I won that game. I won it. I did it. And defensively, they're good.
I mean, State's the one that did the troll job. They honored Jackie Sherrill before the game.
They can't help themselves. They can't help themselves.
Jackie Sherrill is also the losingest head coach in their history, too, I think. I think Jackie Sherrill has an exactly 500 record.
Jackie Sherrill wrecked your program. It's weird, man. It blows me away. People are funny. What people envision as their glory days blows me away.
Yeah, Dan Mullen took them to far greater heights.
Oh. Mullen changed the way people...
He went 75-75-2 in Mississippi State and 43-59 in the SEC. He is 16 games under 500 in the SEC.
And just recruited JUCO kids.
Went to a bunch of Peach Bowls. 3.
Dan Mullen took you to the Orange Bowl. Dan Mullen took you into the middle of November ranked number 1. Number 1. At Mississippi State. Number 1. Jeez.
Dan Mullen went 69-46 at Mississippi State.
What was his record in the league?
33-39.
At there, it's pretty good.
Not awful.
Not awful.
Had 1, 2, and 6. Never went worse than 3 and 5. Other than that,
Yeah, and inherited an absolute train wreck.
yeah, went 2 and 6 in a year. They went 7 and 6, 6 and 6 in the regular season, and then actually the 2012 team that Ole Miss beat in Oxford that night, they went 2 and 6 in the league.
I saw that game in 2008. Sly Croom's last game.
Oh yeah,
I was there. I saw it. I might not know football, but I know what that was.
Oof.
You're starting over in Starkville, Mississippi.
Yeah,
And he did. Mississippi State should have honored him pregame. It was an error.
instead they
You don't
trolled
get
him.
it back. Instead, they trolled him. He gets the last laugh. He walks off
He
the
didn't see him
field.
again for 7 years or whatever.
He walks off the field with his wife and his kids, and it's over. And that's that.
The more I look at it, I really want one of his little ice cream concoctions. He had at Bob's last week.
sounds delicious.
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
He should have gone through the drive-thru on the way out of town. Ordered a lateral move.
Oh, that would have just been. I would have to buy a Gators jersey. I'm telling you.
Felipe Franks.
God, I mean, I really would. That would. The thought of that makes things move.
Have one lateral move, please. Thank you.
I'd like to order a lateral move for every player on my team. Thank you.
Yes. Extra chocolate chips. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, ULM at Ole Miss this weekend, 3 p.m. Dang it.
ULM was really bad in Atlanta. Got blown out by Georgia State, who I know nothing about.
Played Troy well.
Yeah.
Late.
Beat Southern Miss. Played Troy well.
Southern Miss hung with Auburn last week. Had the
Yeah.
ball late with a chance.
Yeah. I'm going to say that Ole Miss is a 19.5-point favorite.
Started at 21. It is now at 22. The only injury update Vegas has on this game right now is A.J. Brown being listed as probable for Saturday's game.
Okay.
Again, we'll talk to Matt Luke in a couple hours, but Vegas says he's probable. So,
And I know nothing about ULM other than,
you know their coach, who you mentioned a lot. That's about it.
yeah, Coach Viator. I will be watching practice this week. I will be calling Coach Viator
Ooh.
and giving him
You and Parrish might get banned from the facilities this week.
promise.
I
I mean,
Parrish wears like ULM gear sometimes.
he
so,
does.
yeah.
Parrish is actually a proud alum.
Yeah, he wears the NLU hat a lot.
He does. I went there because, frankly, my first job offer out of college was so bad,
Got to do something else for a minute.
and I thought, let's take a time out. Let's think about this for a minute. It was because I graduated in broadcast journalism. I wanted to go into television. I don't have the looks for television. My first TV offer was in El Dorado, Arkansas, Chase, at an NBC affiliate, and they offered me, if I recall correctly, $11,000 a year. I made double that bartending. And so,
Well, yeah.
and so I had to take a step back and sort of think about things. And so I stayed in graduate school, and I kept bartending, and I had an assistantship, and ended up having a pretty decent time there. But for me to say that I'm a UL, I'm being serious here for just a moment. I never went to a game. The closest I did to go to a game was there. This is a funny story. I'm dishing dirt on myself. One of the ULM softball players used to come into my bar and talk trash at me. And
Talk trash.
just
at you.
play with me. I guess I'm sure looking back she was flirting, but I was too stupid to know. And she was a pitcher, and she said I would not be able to hit her. And I said that I could. And so we went and found out one day.
And?
I hit it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Had to look at it a couple times because the ball kind of rises, and you're not used to that when you play baseball. Because in baseball, even though you think sometimes that a guy throws it so hard that it rises, it's not rising. It's going on a downward
It's harder to
plane.
hit than you think it is,
It is.
especially at that level.
I don't think she was particularly
Okay.
good.
Maybe that's part of it.
I squared it up a few times.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Texas shootout, Red River shootout this weekend. Oklahoma is a touchdown favorite over Texas this weekend.
Okay.
7 points.
Texas playing a lot better. Give Tom Herman credit.
I know nothing about their program other than the coach is the guy that left Georgia Southern, maybe. Credit to Tulane. Beat the crap out of Memphis last Thursday wearing those goofy helmets.
Yeah.
Tough game for Memphis there. Memphis now plays UConn.
It's Willie Fritz, isn't it, at Tulane? Is he still there?
I think Willie Fritz is there, right? Isn't that right?
I think that's right. He's a good coach.
Yeah, pretty sure that's where he is. Did you like those helmets?
Yeah, I love them.
Did you really?
Yeah, when you're a place like Tulane, I think you should do stuff like that. You don't have tradition. Stop.
I really liked the white ones with the baby blue and the Gumby.
Oh, I love that.
I like that more than I did the big Gumby on the side, but whatever.
Yeah, but you're Tulane. Go for it. Have fun.
My favorite helmet of the year is still the Hawaii one with the island outline on the map on the side
Love
of the helmets. That's a really, really
You're
good
Hawaii. You don't have tradition. Have fun.
And then last two games that I'll mention the lines to. Miami -13 against Florida State. I remember when that used to be a game.
Yeah.
And then
and Miami's kind of responded from this LSU loss. The LSU loss doesn't look so bad for them anymore.
Scott Frost will move to 0-5 this week as they are on the road at the Wisconsin Badgers. They are 23-point underdogs.
I loved his post game the other day. You know what I saw when I saw that? If I'm a Nebraska fan, you know what I walked out of that post game going? We're gonna be fine.
It's what's funny. It's and this is positively and negatively. The instant assessments of first-year coaches crack me up. It's not their players. It's not their plan. It's not their system. This win or lose, this is not what Chad Morris is going to look like.
Nope.
Win or lose, Florida State's admin doesn't give two craps what this season looks like. Willie Taggart is there to recruit. So until he has a chance to recruit, he's not a success or a failure. I don't know yet. We'll see.
It's fun we could practice in Lincoln, Nebraska this week.
Well, he's going to kill him.
He looked over there and watched the dancing and stuff and goes, we're 0-4. 0-3 or whatever, on our way to 0-4. We're losing by 2 touchdowns, and I got people dancing on the sideline.
I'm about to.
He goes, you know what? Okay, I didn't recruit any of you guys. I'm going to process you, but I didn't recruit you. I'm going to bring my guys in. And instead of doing the he walks into his post game and says it. Not mean, didn't call anybody out. Just said that's not who we're going to be. Nope. Not who we're going to be. And meanwhile, over at UCF, they're really good.
They're really good.
He left that cupboard full. And that's what he's telling kids on the recruiting trail, and I'm speaking with some degree of authority because I asked around about this a little bit before I said it. I said, is he using UCF as a recruiting tool? And oh, yeah, of course. He should. And he absolutely should. Look what I left. Not only talent, but culture. Attitude. Scott Frost is going to be just fine. Be careful with the hot take on, see, he's no good.
Not selling your Frost stock yet?
Nebraska's coming.
To what degree, I don't know, because they're still the new age Nebraska, but sure.
They're going to be a power in the Big Ten.
If you told me they're Wisconsin, I'll buy you.
It's a power in the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's not, you're not scared of them, but they're very good.
Yes.
They're top of that second
They're going to give him time, and he is going to shake that damn thing up this offseason like it's a tumbler.
I was enjoying Twitter a little yesterday because, typically fans are, oh, no, we can get them no matter what for good teams and pepped up. Somebody was predicting college football playoff matchups yesterday, and Notre Dame got like the 4 seed in it, and all their fans are going, "No Moss, like nope. keep winning, get to the 2 or 3. We don't want any of that. Like,
either give us the 2 or 3, or let us go to like the Fiesta Bowl."
Yeah, everyone else was like, "I'm having crazy PTSD from the whole Manti Te'o game."
Nobody wants that.
There's not even like the thought of, well, maybe on the right day. No.
I'd rather go to the bowl game. Phoenix, you said? Yeah, Phoenix.
Yeah,
it
was like Notre Dame, Alabama, and Miami, and they were like, nope.
Been there, done that. Nope. We don't really need to make the playoff this year. What's the next best choice?
Yeah, you can be the first team out and just go to the Sugar Bowl and play Georgia or something.
Or someone's going, so the Rose Bowl's not a playoff this year? We'll go there. Yeah. That sounds good.
Rose Bowl sounds fun.
That sounds great.
Pasadena's good. So, anyway.
Don't want Miami on December the 29th against Alabama losing by 52 points. Just nope. No one's interested. Is there a team that you've seen so far, before we go to this break, is there a team that you've seen so far who could beat Alabama?
On the absolute perfect day.
Okay.
I still think I'm talking myself out of it as I'm talking. I mean, look, they're college kids. Yeah, sure, they can lose a football game.
To whom?
On the right day,
Yeah.
they can lose up front, and Clemson can stay close.
Okay.
And get in the fourth quarter, who knows?
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't think Oklahoma can because defensively they suck.
I agree.
When you go to overtime with Army, with all respect to Army, no, you're not
Right.
beating Alabama.
It's fair.
I think that it would eventually get really ugly. But I would like to see the first, quarter and a half potentially because, frankly, I don't know who's given Alabama this type of game. I'd kind of like to see Wisconsin just play them. It's going to be really ugly eventually, but I'd kind of like to see an early part of that football game.
Okay.
That's about it. And then, Ohio State has a lot of athletes. That's the game I want to see. They're not going to win, but from a just straight, hey, athlete, Urban's not going to be intimidated by Nick. There's not going to be any kind of program intimidation. If it's Alabama or the field, I want Alabama.
If I offered you today Alabama minus 16.5 against Ohio State.
I take Ohio State.
Really?
Yeah. 16, I would take Ohio State. I think that's a game that's 31-20, 31-17, somewhere in there. We're probably going to see it, so we'll find out here in a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
This podcast also brought to you by Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate. She's the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. So visit her website, meganmphillips.com. That's MEAGANM Phillips.com, or call Megan at 205-602-7929. Again, 205-602-7929. It's also an opportunity for you if you are a business owner, you're interested in advertising, whether it be on this podcast, whether it be on some of our smaller podcasts. The title sponsorship for our Soft Verbal podcast is available. It's a podcast that gets very steady numbers. Russell does a good job, and we're entering the prime part of the recruiting season. And yes, the future of the Ole Miss program, as much as people are hung up on wins and losses with Arkansas and Vanderbilt and South Carolina, I get it. But the program's future hinges on recruiting, period. And Russell does a phenomenal job of covering recruiting, talking about recruiting. Your business can capitalize on that. Get in touch with one of us if you're interested.
Just happened to notice this a minute ago. Ole Miss 120th in total defense entering the week.
We're getting better.
You mean funny?
Literally, it's an improvement. They were 123rd.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Weren't they? 123rd, 124th in total defense?
I was looking for them in a few other categories, and I'm actually having a hard time finding it now, so I don't know.
570-something yards Saturday. It's something else.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was.
290 through the air, 280 on the ground, vice versa. It's bad. The missed tackles. Linebacker coverage. Whew.
Yes.
Bad.
All right. You got 2 games. You got to win one of them to make the postseason.
Yep.
I guess technically you're in the postseason, but whatever.
The Cubs did make the postseason.
Yes.
Even if they lose today, they're guaranteed one postseason game.
So Atlanta is going to travel to either Colorado or L.A.
Yes, the Braves will watch the game today.
Yes, and then get on a plane somewhere tonight.
The loser of Colorado, L.A., the game starts at 1 Pacific, so 3 Central, is going to get on a plane tonight.
Fly across country.
Lose 2 hours in the air in addition to the time flying.
Oh, yeah.
Land in either Chicago or Milwaukee. Get to a hotel and either tomorrow face John Lester or likely Julius Chassin, because it looks like, and I've been trying to concentrate on our show, believe it or not, it looks like Milwaukee is going to do a bullpen game today. Nope. I'm stand corrected. Milwaukee is starting Julius Chassin today. Craig Counsell doing the gamble.
Go ahead.
The Brewers are starting Julius Chassin, who is likely their most stable starter. Now, keep in mind, the Cubs and Brewers have played each other 19 times. This is their 20th meeting. The Cubs have seen Chassin this year 3 times, I think. The Brewers have seen Jose Quintana, who the Cubs are going with, 3 times today. 3 times this season. These two teams know each other. There's lots of familiarity. If the Brewers win, this is awesome for them. They're set up to go Thursday against Cubs, Dodgers, Rockies, whoever it may be, with a rested rotation. If the Brewers lose today with Chassin, they play either the Dodgers or the Rockies tomorrow night in Milwaukee with less than a stellar pitching staff set up. Kyle Davies on 3 days rest. Chase Anderson, who they haven't had a lot of faith in. It wouldn't be Miley. It wouldn't be Gonzalez. It wouldn't be Chassin, obviously, because he's pitching today. So Craig Counsell going for it. I wonder whether this was the pressure of winning a division.
You think that plays a factor?
It may have. Joe Madden said yesterday that you have to manage 2 games at once today. You have to, you want to win, and you want to try to win, but you got to, if you're the Cubs, the goal is to be playing Thursday night. To be playing Thursday night, you have to win one of these next 2 games. You have to be careful not to lose them both today.
Who's pitching for the Cubs?
Jose Quintana.
Okay, gotcha.
Because the Cubs go Lester tomorrow.
Yeah.
They can play with their pitching a little bit more than the Brewers can. It's a gamble on the Brewers.
So you're not like in complete freak-out mode today?
No. It's a big game, and I want them to win it, and it would be better to win than to lose.
Thanks.
But if they lose, they get another shot tomorrow, and if they win...
Now, Lester would be burned for the DS.
He would be...
Game 3.
This is where they have the pitching to do this. If, let's say, they lose today, and they have to use Lester tomorrow, and they win, they go Hendricks in Game 1, Hamels in Game 2, and Lester comes back for Game 3 at Wrigley.
And it's fine.
On Sunday. Yeah, because today's... Lester would pitch Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday. He'd be on regular rest.
It's fair.
And then you go back to Quintana in Game 4, and then if there were a Game 5, you'd have Hendricks available.
For Atlanta to start at home, they had to get Dodgers and Rockies losses. Instead, they beat the crap out of both those teams.
Yeah, four games yesterday that mattered, and all 4 were kind of blowouts.
Yeah. So you get, on ESPN today, you get 12-3, I think, are the times. Is that correct?
Yes.
What happens if it goes over 3 hours? Well, they put no gap in it.
ESPN has...
I know they have multiple channels. Do they start somebody on a different channel?
Yeah.
That was lovely by CBS yesterday because the entire nation really cared about the overtime between the Texans and the Colts. Did you see this?
No.
So Saints-Giants are at 3:20 or whatever yesterday. The Texans and Colts go into overtime at about 3:10. Okay?
Yep.
They play the full quarter almost. And CBS nationally stayed with the game instead of going Saints-Giants and starting that game on time. Stayed with Colts-Texans. They picked the game up with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. Missed a quarter and a half of Saints-Giants yesterday because of a Colts-Texans overtime, where the Texans are 0-3 and the Colts were 1-2. Nationally, how does that make any sense from a rating standpoint?
It doesn't.
2 just teams. The Giants have a huge fan base.
And the Saints are fun. Saints are good.
They're not good. They're fine.
I tell you who looked good yesterday. My Chicago Bears.
They did look good yesterday. Trubisky threw 6 touchdown passes yesterday, I believe.
I listened to the first half driving, and it was domination.
Yeah. The L.A. Rams are by far the best team in football.
Yes.
And then there's everyone else kind of. Bears, Eagles, Saints, maybe Panthers in that next little group. Minnesota. maybe, but the Rams exposed them a little bit, even though the game was closer there at the end.
With both of their corners gone.
Yeah. I mean, Peters played, but was on one leg. Yeah, Rams are really, 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 really good.
Yeah.
Really good. So, anyway. U.S. lost the Ryder Cup. I'm not talking about that today. We'll talk about it later. I guess that's it. Yeah. Saints actually should have scored 45 points. They
look good.
They had 4 red zone opportunities where they kicked field goals all 4 times to start the game. They had 12 points through 4 red zone chances yesterday.
I think they look good. They look like a really good team to me.
The defense sucks. It was better yesterday, but frankly, the Giants are bad offensively.
They are. I do like Barkley as a back. He's a good back.
He is.
They're just not good up front.
No, they're not good up front. I mean, the Saints are 3-1. Should have lost to the Browns with Tyrod Taylor.
And the quarterback's on the backside of his career.
And they won a overtime game because they got the ball first against the Falcons. Falcons have no defense. They lose in the final seconds to the Bengals yesterday. They're suddenly 1-3, and they're going to be out of this thing in a minute.
Andy Dalton's a good regular season quarterback.
He's a dang good regular season quarterback.
Else,
Don't want much to do with him later, but he's good there. Josh Gordon joined the Patriots yesterday, had a catch or two, and the Patriots blew out the Dolphins.
Yeah, their obituary was prematurely written.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Dolphins have a tendency to lay those kind of eggs from time to time. They're not exactly a quality franchise. So, all right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Matt Luke at 11:30. Content up, 10 thoughts, Romero columns from yesterday, and more. So check out rebelgrove.com. Talk to you then.